Right, time for the owl who was afraid of the dark. Now, yesterday, do you remember what he found out about? He found out about the animals that came out at night time, didn't he? Remember that word again? What they called? They're nocturnal. And the lady, the little girl who the mum thought was Father Christmas, told him that dark is fascinating. Right, we've only got 2 chapters left, so it'll be finished on Monday. It's a shame. So let's find out what Plop is going to see and hear about nighttime today. So this chapter is called Dark is Wonderful. That was nice, said Plop, when he had gulped down what his father had brought. What was it? A shrew, said his father. I like shrew, said Plop. Here's a picture of one. There you go. Picture of the shrew. What's next? A short pause, said Mrs. Barnow. Let your poor daddy get his breath back. All right, said Plop. But do hurry up, Daddy. Shrews are nice, but they're not very big, are they? This one feels very lonely, all by itself at the bottom of my tummy. It needs company. I don't believe there's a bottom to your tummy at all, said his father. No matter how much I put into it, it is never full. Oh well, I suppose I had better go and hunt for something else to cast into the bottomless pit. That's what fathers are for, said Plop. Wouldn't you like to go hunting too, Mummy? It would be a nice change for you. Thank you very much, said Mrs. Barnow. What you really mean is that you won't have to wait so long between courses. But I will certainly go if you don't mind being left. Why don't you come with us? Then you wouldn't have to wait at all, said his father. Plop looked round at the creepy darkness. No, thanks, Daddy, he said. I have some remembering to do. Righto, said Mr. Barnow. Ready, dear? Plop's parents took off together, side by side. Have a look at this picture of them. Can you see? There they are. Imagine both their wings like that, the wingspan. How long they must be together in the sky. Crikey. Anyway, Plop's parents took off together, side by side, their great white wings almost touching. Plop sat outside the nest hole and watched them drift away into the darkness until they melted into each other and then disappeared. It took quite a long time because the stars were coming out and Plop could see a long way by their light with his owl's eyes. So there's something to do with how the owls see, look, and the light that they get reflected from the light from the stars, don't they? So that will go with our science from today. He remembered what his mother had said about dark never being black. It certainly was not black tonight. It was more of a misty grey, and the sky was pricked all over with tiny stars. Right, close your eyes and imagine the dark sky, but then all lit up with all those stars. Drat, said a voice from somewhere below Plop. Plop started and peered down through the leaves. Go and peer down. There was a man with some sort of contraption set up in front of him, standing there scowling up at the clouds which had hidden the moon. What was he doing? Plop, here we go, you've got to do this. Plop shut his eyes, took a deep breath, and fell off his branch. He shot through the air like a white streak and landed with a soft bump. Heavens, cried the man. A shooting star? Actually, I'm a Barnow, said the shooting star. What's that thing you've got there? A telescope, said the man. Right, do you want to see the telescope? Have a look at this. There he is, there's the man, the telescope. Can you see the clouds are blocking his view, aren't they? Right. A telescope, said the man. A Barnow, did you say? Well, I thought you were a meteor. How do you do? How do I do what? Asked Plop. Oh, you know what I mean. How are you? Hungry, said Plop. I thought you said I was a shooting star, not a meteor. A meteor is a shooting star, said the man. Oh, said Plop. What is the television for? Telescope. For looking at things like the stars and planets. Ooh, can I have a look, please? Of course, said the man, but it's not a very good night for it, I'm afraid. It's too cloudy. I don't like the dark very much, said Plop. Really, said the man. How very odd. You must miss such a lot. Dark is wonderful. Tell me, said Plop, please. I'll do better than that. I'll show you, the man said. Come and put your eye. No, this end. Plop had jumped up, scuttled along the telescope, and was now peering backwards between his feet into the wrong end. I can't see anything, he said. You surprise me, said the man. Try this end. Plop waddled back along the telescope, and the man supported him on his wrist so that his eye was level with the eyepiece. Right, look for your telescopes. What can you see? Now, can you see anything? Oh, yes, said Plop. It makes everything come nearer, doesn't it? I can see a bright, bright star. That must be very near. Yes, just 54 million miles away, that's all. Million? Gasped Plop. Yes, that's Sirius the dog star. What? A dog? It's one of the nearest stars, but obviously still millions and millions. You can see it through the telescope. Why is it called a dog star, said Plop. Because it belongs to Orion, the great hunter. Right, do you want to have a look at the dog star? There it is. So the stars in the sky are shaped so it looks like a dog. And the man said it belongs to Orion, the great hunter. Look, there he is. Can you see those 3 stars close together? Plop drew his head back from the telescope and blinked. Can I change eyes? He said. This one's getting very tired. Yes, of course. Now see if you can find the great hunter. He has 3 stars close together. That's his belt. Right, can you see his belt, guys? And some fainter stars behind him. That's his sword. Oh, I've got him, shouted Plop. I've got Orion the great hunter. Oh, I never knew stars had names. Show me some more. Well, we'll see if we can find the pole star, shall we? Hang on, I have to swing the telescope round for that. Plop had a ride on the telescope, and then the man showed him how to find the plough, and the 2 stars pointing straight up to it. That's a bright one too, isn't it? Said Plop. Yes, there. Now, you can find that. You need never ever get lost, because that star is directly over the North Pole, so you'll always know where North is. Is that important? Said Plop. Very important, said the man. Heavens, what was that? An eerie, long-drawn shriek had torn the peace of the night. Oh dear, I expect that's my daddy, said Plop. They looked up. A ghostly whitish form circled above them. Yes, it is. I better let him know I'm here. Right, help me with this, because Plop's going to eek to his dad. Ready? Really loud. Eek! Oh, said the man, jumping. You should warn people when you're going to do that. You know, I've often wondered what that noise was. Now I shall know it's only you or your father. Or my mother, said Plop. I really must go. Thank you very much for teaching me about the stars. He hopped onto the telescope, right, do this with me, and bowed his funny little bow. Goodbye. Goodbye, Master Barnowl. Good stargazing. Plop flew up to join his father, and together they landed on the landing branch. Look, there they are, landing together on the landing branch. Well, said Plop's mother, the man with the telescope says dark is wonderful, and he called me Master Barnowl. And what do you think, Plop? I know what I think, said Mr. Barnowl, not giving Plop a chance to reply. I think Master Barnowl has got a bit of a cheek to send his poor parents on an absolutely urgent search for food and then not bother to be in when they get back. I thought you were supposed to be starving. I am starving, said Plop. But did you know that the dog star is 54 million miles away? Do you want your dinner or don't you? Said Mr. Barnowl. Oh yes, said Plop. Down what his father had bought, and he gobbled down what his mother had bought. And not only did he not ask what it was they had just eaten, but he did not even say, "What's next?" What he said was, "Daddy, do you know how to find the pole star? Shall I show you?" "By all means," said Mr. Barnow, giving his wife a slow wink. Anything that can take your mind off your tummy like this must be worth seeing. Plop would not rest, and so neither could Mr. and Mrs. Barnow until he had made quite sure that they could recognise all the stars the man with the telescope had shown him. He was still at it about 4 o'clock in the morning. "Now, are you quite sure you understand about the pole star?" he said to his mother. "You seem to be a bit silly about it." "I think so," yawned Mrs. Barnow. "You find that thing that looks like a plough, but it's actually a big bear, or is it a small bear? And the pole star is near the North Star." "The pole star is the North Star," Plop said. "And the 2 stars at the front, the plough, point to it. I don't think you're really trying. You haven't been listening." "Oh, we have," said Mr. Barnow. "We have been listening for hours and hours. I think perhaps Mummy is just a little bit tired." "But you must know how to find the pole star," said Plop, "or you might get lost." "I never get lost," said his father, "and neither does your mother. Now be a good chap and go into the nest hole, and I'll see if I can find you something nice for your supper. You can have it in bed for once." "Oh, all right," said Plop. "But I really do feel that you should know about these things. I'll have to try and explain again tomorrow." Mr. Barnow turned to his wife in horror. Oh no, not tomorrow night as well. I couldn't stand it." "Never mind, dear," said Mrs. Barnow. "You haven't had to do nearly as much hunting as usual." "I'm not at all sure that all this stargazing isn't much more wearing than filling the bottomless pit," groaned Mr. Barnow. "Oh, Daddy," Plop put his head out of the nest hole, "did I tell you about Orion? Orion is the great hunter, and... Oh, Daddy's gone." "Yes, dear, he must finish his hunting before it gets light," said his mother. "Now you get back in there and mind you wash behind your ears properly. I'm coming to inspect you at once." So Plop had his supper in bed, and then like a real night owl, he slept right through the daylight hours. That's good, isn't it? Right, that's the end of the chapter. So on Monday, we will finish the book. Have a lovely weekend.